Hi there, folks. This is Manoj Patel. I'm from Hamlet Homes, and we're in the back end of week 2 of lockdown. And I'm just speaking to local people that are doing great things for the community. Today, with me today, I've got Chris Judge. And Chris, give us a little bit of background, Chris, on who you are, a bit of background about yourself, where you grew up, your schools you went to, and the whereabouts in Warrington you are.
Okay, so my name's Chris. I founded an organisation called Directions for Men last year, and that was it's a group really to help men talk to other men about issues that they might be facing. It might be mental health problems. They might not just be feeling themselves and they don't really know why, or they might feel lonely and isolated, which is particularly pertinent at the moment, isn't it? I'm actually a Manchester lad, Manoj. Really, I'm from over in Manchester way. But I've lived in Warrington for the last 20 years. I live in Orford now. So we've been isolated in our house for the past couple of weeks as well, and trying to keep our contact to the minimum. The reason why I set up Directions really is because we suffered a bereavement in our own family by suicide in February of last year. And that was kind of a real motivator to set up a group to get men talking, because I don't know if you know, but the statistics about men and suicide are just horrific. Yeah. 75% of all suicides are men. One man every 2 hours takes his own life. And I just think if we could get men actually opening up and talking about the problems that they're facing and speaking to other men that might have been there, might have been through that problem and come through the other side, it'll hopefully stop men killing themselves. But not only that, it might help men to make friends with other men as well and go out doing other things. It's not just about sitting in our groups having a chat. We want to get men out playing. We play walking football once a week when we can do, and we've had guys going out cycling and playing golf. So we just want to get men spending time with each other and trying to talk about what it is that's troubling them.
Yeah, that's awesome, Chris. What's happening at the moment then with the lockdown? How are you working with your clients at the moment?
Yeah, so it's been really difficult. It's been really difficult because obviously it's hard to replicate that face-to-face meeting. One of the most important things that we have in our meetings is whenever a man walks through the door, they get a smile and they get a handshake and a nice welcome. And obviously we can't do that at the moment, but we've tried to be really creative and flexible about what we do. So we're doing online meetings now. So we meet through Zoom on a Wednesday evening and on a Sunday afternoon. And we get online and we still chat. So it's been nice to do it a different way. We're still getting kind of 6 or 7 guys coming to each meeting. But we'd love to get more men coming and talking to us as well. So we're doing that. We're doing our Zoom meetings. We're offering men a one-to-one on Zoom as well. So if they don't want to go into a group meeting for the first time, they can just meet me or one of the other facilitators on a one-to-one. We've still got our telephone support. We've got our Facebook page, Directions for Men. And we've got Twitter and all those different ways that we're trying to keep in touch with people as well.
Awesome, Chris. Awesome. Are you working with many people at the moment? Have you seen an upturn in demand? Because it is quite stressful, isn't it? With the lockdown for people, it must be.
Well, we were seeing about 65 men a week before this happened. And I think it was always going to be difficult to replicate that online because, not every man has access to online and things like that as well. So we're seeing about 8 guys for each meeting at the moment. So no, we've not seen an upturn, but I'm sure the demand's out there. It's just that people aren't realising that we're still going and we're still doing meetings.
Yeah.
Because actually they might not have Facebook or, the friends might not be telling them that we're still going. So that's why, talking to people like you, Manoj, is an absolute godsend to me because I just need to get as many men as possible knowing that we are still meeting, we are still talking. And now it's more important than ever.
Yeah, Chris, and how do they reach out to you? I mean, how in the past, how has it worked? Have you had referrals through, how does that work for you in the past? And then we'll see how we can make it work for you going forward in this lockdown.
Yeah. So in the past, we've had referrals from mental health teams, and from housing associations and other organisations in Warrington that we work with. And obviously those guys are are either on skeleton staff or lockdown at the moment. So those referrals have slowed down. But actually, you know, the funny thing is the main bulk of referrals of men coming to our groups have come from the women in their life.
Right.
So wife, sister, daughter, it tends to be the women that send them to us. So, you know, that's still a great door for us, and people still come through us that way. I just urge men to get in touch. Like I said, we've got a variety of ways they can get in touch. They can call us on 07894 971 434. They can go to our Facebook page at Directions for Men. They can go to Twitter. It's Directions for Men, but 4 is the number 4.
Yeah.
And we've got an email address, which is hello@directionsformen.org.uk. So any man can get in touch with us any of those ways. You don't have to be referred. You don't even have to have, you don't have to have a mental health problem. You just might want or need somebody to talk to. Just give us a shout and get in touch with us.
Well, Chris, you're a man and I'm a man. Men are stubborn. We know this. How are there warning signs? I mean, Chris, I know because I've had experience. I've had 3 of my friends in the past have committed suicide. So what are the warning signs that friends, family, are there things that we can pick up on?
Do you know what? It's really difficult, man. And one of the things when it comes to suicide in particular is the people that left behind tend to feel guilty because they think they should have spotted something or they should have known. And it's impossible. You know, if somebody's going to take their own life, it's almost impossible to spot it and you know, try and get someone to stop. Once they've got to that stage, you know, everything goes quiet and they plan quietly and things happen. So I'd never want to say to somebody, you could spot it before it and you could stop it. But obviously, when people are feeling down or upset, there are some signs that you can look out for. People might go quiet. So someone who might, you know, you might have spoken to 3 or 4 times a week, you might not have spoken to them for a few days. You know, they might seem distracted. So if you're trying to have a conversation with them, they might not even acknowledge the conversation. They might not remember the conversation. You might see their eyes darting around the place. For men, you know, and this is one of the signs, when I was going through my problems, this is one of the signs that you could see with me, is I'd stop looking after myself. So I'd stop shaving.
Right.
I'd stop getting me, I mean, I've not had my hair cut for a while now because I can't, but I'd stop getting my hair cut. You know, I wouldn't bath or shower, brush my teeth. You know, you might wear the same clothes day in, day out. Right. So those are some of the things that you can look out for. But it's such a complicated issue. You know, what I would say to people is, if you're asking a man how he's feeling, don't ask once, ask twice or ask 3 times, because the first couple of times he'll just say, I'm fine.
Yeah.
If you ask the 3rd time, that's when you might get the answer that you need.
Yeah. Got you, Chris. Chris, we talked last week on the phone, and you mentioned 5-step plan to mental health well-being.
Yeah.
Can you go over that for us, so you know people out there listening, watching can use this?
Yeah. So Direction, we base a lot of what we do around these. It's 5 ways to well-being, and it's international evidence really that says people that do these 5 things will tend to be emotionally healthier. And they're on our board just at the bottom there, and we talk about them all the time. So the first one is to connect. So connect basically means spending time or being in communication with people that you care about. Or people that you love. So, you know, speak to your family. Obviously, at the moment, you can't visit friends and family, but in normal times, visit friends and family. But speak to them on the phone, speak to them via Zoom. I always think that our Directions meetings are people connecting, because it's men connecting with other men and talking about the issues that they're facing. So that's connect. It's quite a simple and straightforward one, that one. The second one that we've got on the board there is to be active. Now, this can be a little bit more difficult because obviously some people think that being active is going to the gym for an hour a day, 7 days a week, but it's not. Being active can be anything. It can be doing a little bit of gardening, which I've been doing this week. It can be cleaning up in the house. It can be going for a walk, going for a run, jog, cycle, anything that matches your level of fitness. You know, don't go out there and kill yourself exercising. Just do something that maybe gets your heartbeat going a little or gets you moving around for an hour a day, which is what we're allowed to do anyway. So be active is the second way of the 5 ways to well-being. Take notice. Now, this is an interesting one, Manoj, because have you ever been in a car from home to your office and got to the office and thought, bloody hell, I can't remember how I got here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all done it.
Absolutely, and that's exactly it. So many of us go through life not really taking notice of the here and now and what it is we're doing in this moment. So when we're driving in the car, we're thinking about all the jobs that we've got to do for the day, or we're thinking about that first email that we've got to send, or we might be thinking about the mess that we've left at home after breakfast that morning. And one thing we're not doing is paying attention to the traffic, to the song that's on the radio, to the weather. So taking notice is forgetting all those things in the future that you can't deal with yet. Try and put the things in the past behind you and just live in the moment now.
Right.
Look at what's around you. And actually, it's a great time for taking notice at the moment because we've not got a huge amount of distractions because we are on lockdown. You can spend a bit more time outdoors and the weather's beautiful, so you can appreciate you can appreciate nature, you can appreciate what's in your garden, the kind of bugs and animals that you see. We've seen butterflies that have started coming around, so it's a great opportunity to take notice at the moment. So that's take notice. Then we've got keep learning. So keep learning is exactly what it says on the tin. Try something new, do something a little bit different. And actually, whilst we're at home and we can't go anywhere, it's a great chance to look at YouTube videos to learn how to cook a new recipe. Maybe pick up a new hobby or interest. Look at if there's a particular place that you've always wanted to travel to, go online and do some research about that place. I'm going to Norway in August, so I've been looking up Norway and places to visit in Norway. So that's keep learning. Try and teach yourself something new. Teach a new skill. Again, it doesn't have to be going to college for 6 months. Something as simple as a new recipe would be enough for you. And the last one, and I think this is the most important one we can do at the moment, Manoj, because they are interesting times that we're in, aren't we? And because people are isolating, and because there are a lot of people that are vulnerable, there's a huge demand and a huge opportunity for the rest of the community to give back and to volunteer and to do their bit to help others. And that's exactly what give back means. It's doing something for somebody else that you're going to get no benefit from whatsoever. So going shopping for your elderly neighbour is a perfect example of that. Just do something that you're not going to get any benefit for, but that person that you're helping is going to get a huge amount of benefit. And that's it. That's the 5 ways to well-being.
Brilliant. Awesome. Chris, thank you very much for the time today and telling us all about the great stuff you're doing for vulnerable people in Warrington. This is great. We're going to put all of Chris's contact details in the bottom of this video as well. And I'm sure, Chris, once this is over and the lockdown's released, I want to come and meet you, come and say hello and shake your hand.
100%. And I want to say thank you for doing this, Manoj. It's a great thing that you're doing, just getting in touch with people that are still doing something different.
Loving it. I'm loving it, Chris. It's good fun. It's great. I'm in my bubble, and it's great to see what is going on outside of my bubble, because everyone's in their own little space.
Yeah.
This lockdown has given us all an opportunity, as you say, to look and take notice and just see what else is going on within our own community. Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Chris.
No problem at all. It's been great to talk to you.
Thank you.